Okay. So we do not want square roots in the denominator. So similarly to when we were simplifying with exponents, we did not want negative exponents in our final answer. That would not be a simplified answer if you had negative exponents. The same rule applies here. Your final answer is not simplified if you have a radical in the denominator. So in order to eliminate a radical in the denominator, we're going to do what is called rationalizing. And so we're going to rationalize the denominator by multiplying by the same radical expression. And we'll see how that works. So if I'm going to simplify 2 divided by the square root of 5, then in order to rationalize this, I'm going to multiply the denominator by the square root of 5. Because if I have the square root of 5 times the square root of 5, according to the multiplication property that we learned earlier, now I can multiply the insides, which is going to be the square root of 25, which we know the square root of 25 is 5. So now I have essentially gotten rid of the square root in the denominator. However, this isn't fair yet because you know that whatever you do to the denominator of a fraction, you must also do to the numerator of the fraction. So if I multiply the denominator by the square root of 5, I must also multiply the numerator by the square root of 5. And to multiply 2 times the square root of 5, we're going to end up with 2 square roots of 5. Okay? And this is going to be our simple most answer. The 2 divided by the square root of 5 is not simplified because there's a radical symbol in the denominator. However, 2 square roots of 5 divided by a positive 5 is in simple most form. Okay. Let's look at another example. Let's look at another example here. I have the square root of 7 divided by the square root of 8n. Okay. So again, in order to rationalize, we're going to start by multiplying the denominator by the exact same rational expression. So we're going to multiply the denominator here by the square root of 8n. And we know whatever you multiply the denominator by must multiply the numerator by the square root of 8n. Okay. So let's multiply. In order to multiply the numerators, I think it will be easiest to keep the factors separate. I have 7, and I'm going to multiply it by 8n. Remember, simple most form, we're going to need to pull out any of those perfect squares. 8 should be a number you identify right away. It's divisible by 4, which is a perfect square. So I'm going to break up those factors. 4 times 2, which would give me the 8, but I still have my n over here. So this is 4 times 2 times n, all divided by, now the square root of 8n times the square root of 8n. Remember that these are opposite or inverse operations. So that if you take the square root of a number and square it, these are going to be opposite. So the only thing you're left with is 8n. So the denominator here is 8n. Okay. But we can still simplify by simplifying the numerator. We're going to take out this perfect square that I have and bring it out front. The square root of 4 is 2. Keep whatever's left underneath the radical sign. 7 times 2 is 14. And I have this n, so I have 14 n's. And divided by 8n. Okay? Now you may notice, look at this fraction that's out front, 2 eighths. Can you simplify that some more? And the answer is yes. Okay? 2 eighths we can simplify by dividing the top and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1 square root of 14n in the numerator, divided by 8 divided by 2 is going to give you 4n in the denominator. And you don't really need the 1. So the final answer would be 14n, the square root of 14n, divided by 4n. Okay. And so this concludes today's assignment, or today's notes. Your homework for today is going to be page 581, 2 through 50 evens. Okay. If you have questions over this lesson, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay. I've done my best trying to make this video as fluid as possible. Hopefully I get better over time.
I like the video.
You like the video? Thank you, Jackson. Go finish your breakfast, okay? So if there's anything I can do to help improve, or if you know any tips or tricks to this whole YouTube thing, please let me know, because I'm new to this. So do well. If you need help, please ask for help. Stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands. Bye.